Hey, everybody. Come on. I found it. The show's about to start.
I'm Rod Harder, and he's Vinny Dappio, and you're listening to the Specialty Marketing Consultants Profit Lab podcast. Hey, welcome everybody. Rod Harder here with my buddy Vinny Dappio. Specialty Marketing Consultants is on the air. How are you today, Vinny?
Great, Rod. How are you, and how's everybody listening? I hope you're in as good a place as we are.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, today we're going to talk about the white elephant in the room.
Oh, boy. You're going to talk about my weight problem, aren't you?
that was last week's podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. This must be July or something by now, but anyhow.
No, we're going to talk about people who are fearful or worried or concerned about committing to a marketing and advertising budget. And we're just going to kick around the need to have advertising in your business. We hear it all the time.
Oh, it's a great subject. How many people tell us, I tried and I didn't get the response I wanted, so I stopped.
Right. And it's so easy because people get busy. They say, I don't have the money. There's a lot of reasons. But they're nothing more than pitiful excuses, because I heard this not long ago from somebody. If you have decided to own your own business, you owe it to yourself to give it all you've got.
That's correct. Another thing, I hate and I'm sorry, but I hate when I hear someone say, especially that solopreneur, they tried to market and advertise. You never try to market and advertise.
Right.
You market and advertise, period. Right. There's no trying. It's just something that's got to be in your genes.
It's just like as if Coca-Cola or IBM or GE or any of the big companies were decide to take a break for 6 months, or, hey, let's save a few $1 million and we won't put a blimp in the air and we won't have ads on TV every day. You know the outcome of that.
And everybody knows, you can go to any corner of the world and hold up a bottle of Coca-Cola. I mean, the bottles are printed in like 17 or 18 different languages, a way to say Coca-Cola. But if they stopped advertising or marketing, I will guarantee you 6 months, nobody will know who they are. They'll assume they just went out of business and they'll stop buying it.
Yep. And, perfect example is the Hershey chocolate story. Many years ago.
The largest chocolate maker in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And many years ago, they thought they were too big for their britches and didn't do advertising, and they almost lost it all because people go on to other things, out of sight, out of mind.
They learned it the hard way, like a lot of our future clients might be learning. It's not something that you have to look at your marketing and advertising if you have employees the same way you look at your employees. You wouldn't think twice about not giving them their paycheck on payday, would you?
Right.
So why not look at your marketing and advertising as a budget that you must set in stone, and come hell or high water, you're going to market and advertise this week, this month, this day. It's got to be looked at as, you know how your employees earn the right for you to give them a salary? Well, your business earned the right for you to develop a marketing and advertising budget for it.
And your words are very penetrating, because it's almost like you're passionate about what you're saying. You want to reach out and just hold someone by the shoulders and say, you've got to get this. You really have to understand this, because it is your business.
Yeah, and too many of you folks rely on that word-of-mouth advertising. And where does that work, Rod?
Well, it works if you've got 20 years and you want to grow maybe 1 or 2% a year for those 20 years. But for anybody that wants to live a comfortable lifestyle and build a business where you attract people to your business instead of chasing them, it's not a good fit. That whole idea of word of mouth, it's a perfect scenario for a place like Mayberry.
Exactly, where everybody knows everyone, and you happen to be the only hardware store in town. You don't need to advertise, folks. We're going to be honest with you. If you're the only chiropodist in town, people have to come to you. But you know as well as we do, you're not unique or singular in what you provide to your customers or clients. You've got to let them know who you are and what you do, and let them know all the time.
Yep. The other day you used a perfect example when you were talking to somebody about going to the movies. You know, people don't associate that with marketing, but walk us through that.
Well, the average moviegoer will get there at least 10 minutes before the movie starts.
Right.
And you sit down in your nice new comfortable seat, because movie theaters today are amazing, aren't they? It's like sitting in your living room.
Yeah.
But you're sitting there all comfy, and in the newspaper or the telephone voicemail said the movie starts at 7:20. So you're there at 7:10. You know that movie doesn't start at 7:20. What starts at 7:20?
Trailers.
Trailers and what? Marketing and advertising for what they want you to come back for next week.
Right.
Or what's going to open up on June 1st. Or your favorite actor's new part 2 of the movie is coming out. They've got you. You're a hooked audience. They know you're not going to get up and walk out because you paid good money to be there. So why not bombard you with 5 or 6 trailers that are going to advertise what's coming up next week at this movie theater?
Yeah. In addition to that, they're subliminally pushing the industrial drum of snow caps. They want you to... Why is it...
next to that popcorn and the Diet Coke.
A lot of people think, well, I'm not a big guy. I'm not IBM. I'm not Coke. I'm not Disney. I can't do those sort of things. And our answer to that is good. You shouldn't. You should do just the opposite. They can't do what you do, and you can't do what they do. They have to rely on advertising. You can be personal about it. You don't have to spend a ton of money.
Yeah, depending on how you do it, you have the ability to target your marketing. They don't. They always cast that huge net because that huge net costs a lot of money to throw overboard. You can definitely stay as targeted as you like, be as specific as you like, but the point to bring home is you've got to be doing this on a regular basis.
Right. And if you're not letting people know about your product or services, how are they going to know? They're not. Yeah. So let's talk about a budget, buddy. Let's talk about just what somebody should think about, the mindset, the plan for allocating a certain amount of their budget towards marketing.
Exactly.
So walk us through that.
How do you do that? Well, let's say that you're an established business. We'll take that example. Mm-hmm. There are some of you out there, and let's just pick a number. Let's say your business last year or the last few years on a steady basis is grossing, now that's the key word, your gross income for the business, let's say is $500,000, $500,000.
Okay.
Look at that number and now say, I want to allocate 5% into my marketing and advertising budget. So if you do the quick math, if you're grossing $500,000 a year, you take 5% of $500,000, and you should be allocating about $25,000 a year into your marketing and advertising.
Right.
Now, when we say allocating $25,000 a year, that's exactly what we mean. Don't spend that $25,000 in January, February, and March, and now you're sitting on your heels for another 9 months.
Right.
You've got to break it up into a monthly budget, or some of our clients even break it up into a weekly marketing and advertising budget. So do simple math. Divide it by 52, divide it by 12. If you do quarterly, divide it by 4. But just make sure you put the money aside and you use it consistently throughout your budget year.
Yep. And once you know your numbers, it's a lot easier to forecast and plan. And think of it from a personal standpoint. Every financial planner will tell you to pay yourself first. So if you are making a certain income per year, you know that the best plan is to put a few bucks aside first before you pay your bills, before you do anything else, because one day you'll need that money. Same formula for your business. Pay yourself first. It is so important you do this because marketing is your business. You might be a plumber, you might own your own hardware store, you might have a bicycle shop, but really you are the marketer of that business before you are the owner of that product or service. Now, buddy, let's just say that you're not established. You're a startup company and you're just coming out of the blocks. What would you suggest for that company?
Great question, Rod, because we know a lot of our listeners are solo entrepreneurs.
Right.
If you had the idea to start a business, I'm 110% sure that you didn't just say, today I want to open up a shoe store. You've probably gone through all of the hoops and jumps that you had to do to find out what your electric bill is going to be, what your rent going to be. What do I want to make as a salary? Do I need employees? Well, if you've done all the right homework before you opened your doors, you've probably given yourself a projected gross income, the amount of money you're going to need to bring in every month or for the year in order to meet all of your expenses.
Right.
So if you decide, my company needs to make at least $200,000 in gross sales a year in order to make my monthly nut. Well, now you're going to take 5% of $200,000, which that's going to be, what's the math on that one, buddy? Well, that's about, what, $1,000?
Roughly.
Yeah, so make sure that for the year you put aside $1,000 or even round it up to $1,200, and every month you're going to spend at least $100 on marketing and advertising. Numbers work, folks. Numbers don't lie. Percentages don't lie. And that's why we like to use percentages when it comes to figuring out what your marketing budget should be, because 5% is 5%, whether it's 5% of $500,000 or 5% of $200,000. Put aside that 5%, and like we said earlier, you wouldn't think twice about not paying your employees. Well, why aren't you paying your most prized possession, your business, and pay it in the form of a marketing and advertising budget?
And if it sounds like we're passionate about this, we really are, because this is the core part. It's the heartbeat of your business. It really is. And without the heart, boy, you don't have anything.
You have to be just as passionate as we are, because you've got to admit, the competition keeps getting tougher, and it's growing in leaps and bounds.
Right. Today, there are more than, 20 million non-employer or solopreneurs in the U.S., and that number just climbs every day. So the
20 million.
Yeah.
That is huge. That's a lot of competition.
It is, and you have to do something to be different, to stand out, and of course that's another subject of it for another time, but all of these things are very important, and it is easy for you to be different. And, buddy, we have one example after the other of clients who have decided they want to be different. They want to stand out. They don't want to be just like their competitors, and the stories are wonderful. They're just so good to hear. People who have seen the light, as they say, and they've decided, no more am I going to run my business on the fly. They have a marketing plan, and they have a forecast of what they want to do. Their businesses have transformed. This isn't rocket science, but you do have to have a plan.
And it's not just us saying this. There are world famous marketers and entrepreneurs. Here's a few quotes that we dug up. Let me take the first one, okay, buddy?
Go ahead, sure.
Now, Peter Drucker. If you don't know who Peter Drucker was, he's a very famous management consultant. He's an educator, and he's an author. And what he says is the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits him and sells itself. Think about that.
Yeah, well said. Here's another one, Seth Godin, who's a successful author and entrepreneur, works a lot with businesses, and his comment or his belief is simple. Entrepreneurs say marketing is a contest for people's attention. Pretty simple and straightforward.
If that's not to the point of what this podcast is about, and if you don't get that, it's time to go back to marketing and starting your own business 101. Marketing is a contest for people's attention. It's a must-do.
Yeah. We got some others. Who else do you have?
Well, Milan Kundera. Milan Kundera was nominated. Hello?
What's her name?
It's a he. Okay, you know this guy well.
Sorry.
Wait a minute now. Ooh, there goes the coffee. What's her name? Okay. All right, now I got to get through this. Hold
okay.
It. And Milan Kundera said, business has only two functions, marketing and innovation.
Yeah,
that's a
powerful.
good one.
That's powerful.
It is.
We could go on forever on these famous people who endorse and support the value of marketing. The bottom line is you just have to do it. And it's as important as paying your light bill. And like Vinny said earlier, what'd you say the other day about the importance of water or food in your life? You know you've got to do it.
You wouldn't think twice about never drinking a drop of water again or eating a speck of food. It's a natural reflex for your survival.
Right.
Well, start thinking of your business as your survival depends on your business. So don't stop watering and feeding it. Put that time and money into marketing and advertising it. One of the best quotes that I love, and I've got it on a plaque on my desk, and it's from James Altucher. He's a hedge fund manager and an entrepreneur.
Right.
He's also a best-selling author. And you know what he said?
What's that?
The American dream never really existed. It was a marketing scam. Now think about that. That is heavy. It really is.
It is.
And that's what marketing truly is all about. Getting your point across to the people, whether you think they believe in it or not. It's the fact that you believe in it enough in order to tell people about it. And that's the point.
It is. And there are many ways that you can get help to focus in on a marketing plan and develop an action plan from an annual and monthly, weekly, daily basis. We can help you. You can go elsewhere. You can, you can do it yourself, but invest in your business. Invest in getting this stuff down to where it's part of your basic DNA of running your business.
And that's a key phrase, buddy, that you just said. Do not think of this as spending money on marketing and advertising. You must look at this and approach it from a point of view that you're investing in your business. Yep. And if you bring that kind of logic into your business model, watch how quickly you turn things around. It's an investment, not an expense.
Knowing your numbers as a business owner, whether you're a solopreneur or you have 10,000 people, it's critical.
It's extremely critical. And as Rod mentioned, if you want some help, come over to specialtymarketingconsultants.com. There's a ton of reports there. There's a lot of free tutorials there. Feel free to listen to these podcasts, and not just once. Listen to them 2 or 3 times. Get them to be ingrained in your business model. Look for help. Rod brought up a very strong point. If you're trying to do this alone, that's a tough order to fill. If you need help, we have mastermind groups. We have consultants. We can be there for you. Reach out to fellow entrepreneurs that are looking to mentor. There are podcasts you can listen to. Don't try to do this alone. As proud as you are of what you do for a living, don't be Zorro. Don't be the Lone Ranger. Be the guy that knows enough when to reach out for help and grab it.
And if you enjoy the value you're getting from this show, do us a favor and subscribe. We appreciate that because our goal is to reach as many business owners as we can. So let's do it together. Buddy, this was an action-packed show. I think we probably opened up the eyes and ears of a lot of people. That's my hope anyway, because this is really critical stuff. A lot of what we talk about, you can pick and choose how you market, what you do, but this particular episode is about the importance of absolute essential need to have a marketing plan and execute and implement.
Yes, and do yourself a favor. Start looking at those overall numbers. Start breaking down those percentages and get a marketing and advertising budget going yesterday.
Good point. And can you do me a small favor?
Sure.
Would you raise your right hand and just wave goodbye to everybody?
Oh, of course.
Just say goodbye because we're going to get on our horse and ride for this episode. And folks, we'll see
Which
you
hand?
soon. Try your right hand.
Is this the right hand?
Yes, that's the one. Hey, thanks for listening. We hope you got a great deal out of this. We appreciate your time. And Benny, what do you like to tell people?
We'll see you at the top.
Thanks. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye now.